All right, Venkat, your science exam is coming up, so let's tackle one of the coolest topics together. We're going to be detectives and solve a huge mystery. How in the world do plants eat? So, this is our big question, right? I mean, think about it. They don't have mouths. It seems totally impossible, doesn't it? But stick with me. Science has the answer, and we are going to find all the clues one by one. Okay, so before we dive deep, we need to know our main clue, and that clue is the word nutrition. It's really just a fancy word for how living things take in food and use it for energy to live and grow. You do it, I do it, and yep, even the tallest trees do it. So, it turns out most plants have an incredible superpower. It's what lets them make their own food. How cool is that? Let's get right into it and see how this green superpower works. Okay, so in the world of nutrition, there are basically two teams. First, you have the autotrophs. Auto means self, so these are the self-feeders. Think green plants. Then you have the heterotrophs. Hetero means other, so these are the other feeders. They get their food from somewhere else. That's us, animals. And believe it or not, we're going to meet some really weird plants that are on this team too. And that superpower has a name: photosynthesis. The best way to think about it is like a recipe. Seriously, it's that simple when you break it down. First, the plant gathers its ingredients: carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil. Then it adds energy, that's the sunlight, and a little bit of magic, which is a green chemical called chlorophyll. And voila, food is ready. The plant makes sugar for itself and, as a bonus, gives us the oxygen we breathe. So just like any good recipe, you absolutely need all the key ingredients. For photosynthesis to work, the plant has to have these four things: carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and chlorophyll. If you take away even one of them, nope, the recipe just won't work. The plant can't make its food. It's all or nothing. Okay, hold on, because this number is going to blow your mind. You see those little green engines called chloroplasts? Well, in a tiny little patch of a leaf, I'm talking 1 square millimeter, which is super, super small, there are about 500,000 of them. 500,000. It's like having 500,000 tiny little solar-powered kitchens packed into a space smaller than a pinhead. Just incredible. But wait a second. How do we really know that light is so important? I mean, how can we be sure? Well, good scientists don't just guess, right? They test their ideas. Let's look at a classic experiment that proves it, and this is a great one to remember for your exam. So here's what they did. Super clever. They took a leaf and covered just one little strip of it with black paper, so no light could get to that spot. Then they left the plant out in the sun. Later, they did something called an iodine test on the whole leaf. Now, iodine turns blue-black if starch, plant food, is there. And guess what? The part that was in the sun turned blue-black, but the part that was covered, nothing. No color change at all. That's our proof. Case closed. No light means no food. Okay, so you might be thinking, great, I get it, plants make their own food. But just when you think the mystery is solved, plot twist. Not all plants play by these rules. Some are total rebels. So let's meet these strange plants that don't cook for themselves, the heterotrophs. First up, we have the parasite, and this one is basically the food thief of the plant kingdom. Take a look at this one, Cuscata. It's this weird yellow stringy vine. It has no green stuff, no chlorophyll, so it can't make its own food. So what does it do? It finds another plant called the host, wraps itself all around it, and then sends these special roots right into the host to suck out all the nutrients. It literally steals its food. Pretty sneaky, right? A great survival strategy, even if it's not very polite. All right, our next plant isn't a thief. It's more like the ultimate recycler. This is the saprophyte. These plants are so cool. The Indian pipe, for instance, is often white, like a ghost. It has no leaves, it's not green, so no photosynthesis. So where does it get its food? From dead and decaying stuff on the forest floor. It actually works with fungi in its roots to break down old leaves and wood into food it can use. It's literally nature's cleanup crew. Okay, now for the ones you've probably heard about, the most famous rule breakers of them all, the hunters. Yes, you heard that right. These are plants that eat insects. They are carnivores. The pitcher plant has this tube-like structure that lures insects in, but the inside is super slippery, so they can't get out. And the Venus flytrap, it snaps shut in a fraction of a second when an insect touches its trigger hairs. Now, why do they do this? It's because they grow in soil that's missing important nutrients, especially nitrogen. So they still do a bit of photosynthesis, but they eat insects to get those extra vitamins, you could say. All right, our last group of unusual plants are the ones that believe in teamwork. They're the helpful partners. This is all about a win-win situation. It's called symbiosis. A perfect example is lichen. You know that crusty stuff you see on rocks and trees? It looks like one plant, but it's actually two organisms living together, a fungus and an alga. The alga is green, so it does the photosynthesis and makes the food, and the fungus provides water, minerals, and a safe place to live. It's a perfect partnership that lets them survive in tough places where neither could make it alone. Okay, one last piece to our puzzle. With all these plants constantly sucking up nutrients from the soil, you have to wonder, how does the soil not just run out? Let's see how the loop gets closed. So there are basically two ways this happens. First, the man-made way. Farmers add things like manures and fertilizers to put key nutrients back into the soil. But nature has an even cooler, more natural way. There's a special kind of bacteria called rhizobium that lives on the roots of plants like peas and beans. And this little bacteria does something absolutely incredible. It takes nitrogen right out of the air we're breathing, and turns it into a form the plant can use. It's a natural fertilizer factory. Another amazing win-win partnership. And there you have it. Great work, Venkat. You've officially cracked the case. From plants that make their own food using sunlight, to the ones that steal it, recycle it, or even hunt for it, you now know all their secrets. You totally got this for your exam. I know you're going to do great. And hey, make sure you share this with your friends so you can all become plant experts together. You'll all ace that test. Talk to you next time.